Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris Man, and as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. And today I'm going to entitle this video "Funny Stories" because from time to time I'm going to share stories that interactions from subscribers or viewers, and some of the comments that they make and some of the things that they speak on. Because what I've come to notice when you do talk shows, because the talk show that me and my co-host Joseph Spencer does, we make sure that the stuff that we speak on is fact. It's factual and it's not something made up or can be disputed. That you know what you're talking about, because ain't nothing worse than being embarrassed when you talk about some stuff that you're wrong. But we're not trying to say that everything that we talk about, everything that we do is absolutely 100% true or facts. We try our best to be as close and factual and accurate as possible, but nobody's perfect. So I'm going to share some of these stories with you guys, because I think you might find them interesting. My biggest video view is a Prince analysis, and I thank you guys for viewing that video. And I talk about Prince's, I do analysis on Prince's playing style and the fact that Prince could not read sheet music, and he clearly states this in many videos. In his early career, he couldn't read. And as a musician, as I listen back on those recordings, you can determine that a lot of the chords are kind of made up, the inversions, so it sounded like someone created music on their own terms, and nothing wrong with that. Because I remember back in the day before I was able to read music myself, I used to make up chords and just kind of play what I can hear to think that it sounds like it was on the record. So I got a comment from a guy saying, apparently this guy, and he was referring to me, apparently this guy didn't watch the movie Purple Rain, because in the movie Purple Rain, Prince was reading sheet music from his father's music collection. And my response was, the late Christopher Reeve played in a lot of Superman series in the movies. And in the movies, he was flying. But in real life, could he fly? No. So it's just a movie. Sometimes don't take these things literally because they're not meant to be taken literally. Prince clearly states that he could not read sheet music, for a long period of time. So I just find it interesting when people want to challenge stuff that you talk about, because again, I try my best to be very accurate, and I do my research. You start making statements. But again, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, but the stuff that I speak on, I do my research before I stick a mic in my face and I start saying these things to people. So the next one is this one, and I actually did a follow up to the Prince video with an analysis of Jimi Hendrix playing, and I got a lot of people disputing this. Jimi Hendrix's birth name was Johnny Allen Hendrix. I repeat, Johnny Allen Hendrix. Got a lot of people telling me it was James Marshall Hendrix. He changed it. It was changed after he was born. So technically, birth name, first name, Johnny Allen Hendrix. And I got a lot of people disputing that. I'm like, first of all, is that really important? What was his name? The importance is, and what I'm trying to convey is he was an extremely great guitar player. So let's not haggle over the name. Let's talk about the talent, because that's what the video is about. But moving on, another one which I found very interesting is this one. Larry Graham, I did a analysis on his playing, and Larry Graham was the inventor of the slap bass technique, where you use your thumb and your other parts of your hands, the strike the strings instead of finger them. And the very first time that style showed up on wax was in the 60s on a song called Thank You For Letting Me Be Myself that was recorded with Sly and the Family Stone when he was a member of that group. I got a couple of people. You're wrong. It was Louis Johnson. Louis Johnson was a child when that song came out. He was literally a child. So it's like, that's a no-brainer. You can do your research to easily determine that Larry Graham did it. He was first. He was older. The next one, the Jackson 5 video. I got some people that weren't happy about that, because in that video I talk about how it was about imagery versus facts. And the fact is, these 12 to 17-year-old kids didn't go into the recording studio with the instruments and put these albums together. The Funk Brothers and other world-class musicians and songwriters did the music. The Jackson 5 did the vocals, And when they performed live, sometimes they didn't perform live. Because you can look at some of these old clips of them performing, and I'm looking at Jermaine and Tito's guitar chords. There weren't any. They weren't even plugged up to their amps. But I'm not saying that they couldn't play. I'm just saying that the majority of the time, live they didn't, and in the studio they didn't at all. Zero. They did not play a note on those recordings back in the 70s. But I get a lot of people that still want to believe it, and you don't know what you're talking about. I've been a part of the music industry for 30 plus years, and I've been behind the scenes as well as in front of the scenes. And, I know a great deal about how the business works. But again, I stress, I'm not saying that I got all the answers and I'm 100% right all the time, but I've done my research, and, the majority of stuff, if not all of it, that, I speak of, you can do your research and come to your own conclusion and verify what I've said. And last but not least, and I really got my tail torn on this one, I did a video on the Illuminati nonsense, and I stressed the word nonsense because that's what it is. There's some people that are running around, a lot of young black rappers and just young black people in general that think that these rich, powerful white folks that have old money are mingling with rappers and killing them off. They have no reason to deal with rappers. They're here and these guys are down here. And people up here don't go down here and mingle with people down here unless they're really trying to get something from them. But there's nothing that these guys down here can provide to these guys. So why do people think that these powerful people are going around dusting off Tupac and Aaliyah, that blood sacrifice nonsense about how, Aaliyah was a sacrifice. It's been documented. She unfortunately passed away in a plane crash. Because if that was true, which is not, that means that they killed a bunch of other innocent people to kill this person. So it's just kind of hard to believe or conceive that people believe stuff that's just absolutely not true. When I spoke on that and I talked about how a lot of the stuff that Professor Griff speaks about is just not true. And it's not a personal knock against him when I make that statement. It's the truth, But I have had people that really came after me, tooth and nail. You know what you're talking about. Professor Griff is always right. Everything he says to talk about is true. A lot of times people say stuff to sell record books and tapes, And I don't think that Professor Griff is trying to deliberately mislead people. He's just misleading himself, because, again, you can do your own research and find out that it's been documented how these people passed away, and there's no secret society or this particular one, because there are literally hundreds of secret societies. But why is it just this one, that's dusting off rappers and killing off other people that they won't even have to part or pass paths in their lifetime with these people, So, again, I thought I would share these stories with you because, it's a learning experience. Don't take my word for anything that I say. Do your own research, and you'll come to the same conclusion that I've come to myself, that the stuff that I speak on is factual. It's not made up. It's not misleading. It's not misinformation. So on that note, I'm going to sign off, and I hope that this was entertaining and enlightening. Thanks for watching.